it's a very, I almost said simple message, but one that I think we neglect many times. I like to talk about inside out, what I call inside out. And you see there's an avocado, and it's showing some seeds inside. There's green pepper, and you have seed as well. For as long as the seed remains inside the avocado, for as long as the seed remains inside the green paper, nothing will happen. It will die, and that's it. No other new green paper will come. No new avocado will come. Inside the juicy tomato, there are lots of seeds. Some of them are good enough to plant, others need to be treated. And I know a little bit about the process of having to plant them until, planting the seed until it becomes a tomato again. The seed needs to be planted underground, or at least in those days. And for it to get to the place where ultimately we enjoy it on the table, it must shoot out of the ground. If it doesn't, it stays in. So with talking about inside out, I am referring to the seeds that we carry inside of us that need to come out. I've planted and grown groundnuts before as well. I know the way to do it is we plant the seed, and if it germinates, shoots out of the ground, then we will enjoy a good harvest if everything else remains the same. For as long as the seed does not come out from inside, we will not be able to enjoy the groundnut or peanut butter for that matter. The same goes for the chicken. There's still the debate about whether it's the chicken that comes first or the egg. I'm not sure when this debate will be settled, but let's assume that for purposes of this conversation, we start with the egg. And the egg carries a seed inside of it that ultimately must break out before it can become another chicken or another cockerel. It's very similar to how they build, those that build. You have to start from somewhere underneath if the structure is going to hold. If you do not dig deep enough, and if that structure does not come out of underneath, so to speak, then the building may collapse before you start. I've been to Cape Town a few times, and I've been to Table Mountain a couple of times. And today I thought I found some inspiration. For the first time today, we had a tour guide. The other times you just go, and I've never really paid attention to look at what they write on those tablets and the captions and all of that. And for the first time today, it occurred that in fact, the Table Mountain came out of a volcano some millions of years ago. I didn't know that. So it had to come from inside to create the beauty that we see in the form of the Table Mountain. I'm told there's still a river that runs underneath. How that is so, I have no idea. But I was curious to learn that it actually came out of the river, and now we have a Table Mountain as beautiful as it is. No relationship between these two. It's just images that I found that will help me tell my story. At some point, whenever that was, the seed is planted, and ultimately you have a big-eyed, lovely-looking something on the right that must have come out. Otherwise, you would have disaster. Now, I'm told that attitudes are intangible. We cannot touch attitude. We cannot touch anger, for instance. But we can feel anger. We can see, we can sense attitude when it is out, when it comes from inside and out. You can see this little lady is, showing some attitude of a sort. So two things I want us to think about. The one is, what if the attitude never came out? We would never know that this little fellow or this young lady is pissed off. If the seed never came out of the ground, we may never have enjoyed the peanut, we may never have enjoyed the vegetable. If the child refused to come out for some reason, we may never have the beauty of enjoying family and all of the rest. That is the one side of the imagination. On the other hand, what if we imagined that the dreams, what if we imagined that the aspirations, what if we imagined that the coach, the speaker, the trainer, the life coach, the keynote speaker that we have dreamed, what if we let that come out? What would happen? And I think that that's the bottom line. The biggest question we should be asking is, the stuff that I carry inside, when will I let it come out? When or what do I need to do in order to let it come out so that those that must benefit from it should benefit? Some people have books stuck inside of them. We want to read those books. Some people have songs, some people have keynote speeches, some people have whatever it is that's stuck in there that they must be able to share, the stories that they must share with the rest of us. We want those to come out. And I think that's the bottom line of what I want to share. The stage that you've dreamed about, the podium that you've dreamed about, the book that you have wanted for so long, when will you allow it to come out? When will you allow it to come out? So it must start from within. I'm told that if you are just told to do something that's not originating from inside of you, it may not be as sustainable. So you must be convinced within yourself, first and foremost, about what it is that you want to let out, and then you do something about it, and then we'll be able to enjoy it. A spring without water is no spring at all. I've been to a few, and I've seen, the fascination of water coming from underneath the ground. It's just something else. But without water, there's no spring. So for as long as the water stays within and hidden underneath, there is no spring, we will never enjoy the spring water. For as long as the dream to speak, the dream to write, the dream to keynote, the dream to coach, the dream to train, the dream to facilitate, whatever it is that you are dreaming about stays within, it's as good as not being there, because we will never see it. We will only see the water, the spring rather, when the water gushes out from underneath. And I think the key, according to Thomas Monson, it's not enough for us to wish. It's not good enough for us to keep dreaming. It's not enough for us to promise. We must do. That's what makes the difference. Sometimes people wait until they have the perfect speech before they could speak. Unfortunately, they never get to a place where they are convinced that the speech is perfect enough. So they will keep crafting the speech, and they will craft again, and then they will rewrite the speech. Some people want to have their book perfect before they can have it published. Unfortunately, perfection doesn't exist. So what happens? They write and they rewrite, and then they rewrite again and they never publish. I think that these last 3 words should encourage us. We must do. After we have dreamt, we must let that which is inside come out. One of the biggest questions, or the most important questions to ask, is the how. Because once you have the dream, you have the vision, you have the aspirations, the question to ask is, how can I get this which is inside to come out? It may be a business idea, speaking business, or whatever the case may be. The how question will then lead us into wanting to find out, should I collaborate with somebody? Should I read about this? Should I go to school? Should I train? Should I? So that then we'll be looking for the strategies that will help us to have whatever it is that must needs come out. It's a very basic message, but it's a simple encouragement. Do not let what's inside stay there. The spring is only as good as long as the water gushes out. If the water stays underneath, it's no spring. It will remain dry. It may be watered, but it's not a spring at all. It only becomes one if the water gushes out. Thank you very much.